If you're looking for all the answers, I don't have them. But what I do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make it so easy to identify when people try to mislead the sports card industry. So if you don't do that, great, I'll let it go. But if you do, I'm going to talk about you. Guys, welcome to another episode of the Sports Card Investigator Show. My name is Andy and I am the aforementioned Sports Card Investigator, and so happy to be here today. Thank you guys so very much for the warm reception I got on my last video when I talked to you guys about the time I had my brush with greatness, the great John Chaney. And a lot of you guys commented or DM'd me about some interactions that you guys had with some very famous people. So very, very cool. I do appreciate all the nice thoughts. And for you guys just supporting me as I'm moving forward in our sports card journey. So I got a question for you guys right off the bat. I always have something planned in the beginning of the week of what I'm going to, concentrate on and research and really get the information to you guys. And every time it seems something pops up during the week where I have to, as my good friend Brett from Stacking Slabs would say, I always have to veer left when I thought I was going to veer right. So I got a question. Let's start off this episode with a question. And do not lie, because I have my Romper Room magic mirror. I will be able to decipher who is telling the truth and who is not. So, how many of you guys have took the plunge and bought NBA Hoops Lamelo Ball? If you did, tell me why in the comments, because I don't get it. I just don't get it. I would love to be enlightened on why anyone at this very moment in time is buying Lamelo Ball Hoops rookie cards for now more than $60. And when they first came out, they were over $100, and you'll see that very shortly. I mean, unless you're a relative of Lamelo or you are Lamelo, I know that sounds a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I'm serious. I can't wrap my head around people going out and buying NBA Hoops Lamelo Ball. And I'm not saying that Lamelo is not going to be great. I have no idea. But everything I'm reading says he's going to be great. And people that I trust in the business thinks he's going to be great. And he's certainly on the trajectory to be great. And I just don't know, even if you have the need to buy him, I just don't understand. But that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. He could be the best player at all, but is he worth buying now? You understand what I'm saying? And I knew, as most of you guys did, as soon as Hoops came out, people would be just putting Lamelo and the other rookies up on eBay. And I didn't even realize what prices we would be looking at until they actually revealed themselves. Think about this for a second. If these prices were to hold, I'm not saying they will, but for fun, just for fun, let's take a look. So here you see a chart, courtesy of Card Ladder. Is Lamelo's Hoops starting price on eBay? It was, I still can't even believe this, $167.50. And since then, his price has dropped, and they're selling for about $70, right? So let's do a comparison. Let's take a look at another player of the same time, like when his Hoops cards came out, just for, again, giggles. Let's look at a guy named John Morant. He's not a bad player, right? I think he actually won Rookie of the Year. His starting price on NBA Hoops was $3.74. $3.74. It got up to a whopping $29. And you could have picked him up as I did about 30 to 40 days after he first came out on Hoops for about $2. Are you guys ready to go? Ready to go to Crazy Town? Is that Ozzy Osbourne? All aboard? Crazy Town, right? Now, of course, this is just conjecture, speculation. And I'm only using this Lamelo card as an example, but what the hell? Let's go there. Here's Ja Morant, arguably one of his more collectible cards, right? His 2019 Panini Prism base card. The starting price for this card was $25.74. You can see on the card ladder chart. So if we are look towards the future, and I really hate doing this, but I feel compelled to do so because it's so damn good. Ja Morant's NBA Hoops rookie card started at $3.74, as I mentioned before. His price that he started his Prism rookie card was $25.74. In other words, and I'm not a mathematician or an analytics or an analysis guy, but I could do simple math. His Hoops card, his Prism card is worth 6.8 times the value of his NBA Hoops card. You guys know where I'm going with this? And I don't like the destination because we are in Crazy Town. But if we were to apply simple mathematical logic, then the first Prism card of Lamelo Ball should be around $1,100. It's not going to happen. But do you see what's going on here? Do you see this? This is insane. And surely that's not going to be the case. And I hope not. And please don't call me Shirley Airplane. Google it. And if a Prism Silver comes out or a number card, I'm thinking $1 million. I'm kidding, of course. But my God, where are we going in this hobby? Crazy, right? Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, you know, I had another topic ready to go, and I'm going to get to it momentarily. But as it always happens, things come up when I'm preparing for this episode. And I was watching another content creator. And look, I didn't get into this YouTube content creator thing to be the content creator cop or the influencer investigator. But I watch everything. And it was your typical type of episode I'm watching. And at the end of this episode, the dude had a mail day and he showed what he bought. And this is a content creator, okay? And he bought not one, not two, not three, but 4, as Moses Malone would say, Lamelo balls. Color me green and call me a pickle. Why in the world would this very popular influencer show his followers that he bought 4 Lamelo Ball NBA Hoops card? And I'm sure he would certainly have a good answer, so I waited intently. His answer, and I'm paraphrasing, was he's the real deal and he has basic fundamentals. And once he gets going in a starting role or consistently, he's going to be good. My favorite emoji, people, I use it off. Probably use it wrong. Is that emoji where the guy goes, like with the hands up? I love that emoji. I'm like, what? Come on, man. As another famous person said. I mean, is LaMelo good? Absolutely. He's a superstar in the making. I mean, he's beyond good at this point for what he's putting up. His numbers, if you watch the game, and if you watch the game, you know he's been starting, and you also know his coach likes the smaller lineup, so he's probably going to be in the starting lineup for the time to come, especially with the numbers he's putting up. But I digress. But I actually the guys that know me probably think the worst thing that ever happened is I discovered on your iPhone where you could just like watch something and then you scroll up and you can record the screen. And every time I do it, I hesitate before I send them clips because I know I'm going to get back. Stop sending me clips. I can't watch this stuff, or whatever it is. I can't watch. I'm not going to watch it. Blah, blah, blah. I couldn't resist. It was just too good. So I sent it off to the guys that I talk to a lot. And I sent it to my son too because I know he would not have any problem telling me if I was just barking up the wrong tree. I mean, maybe I was missing something. Maybe I am so far behind on what prices are in cards that I just was wrong on this one. But I wasn't. I mean, it was so good that Jordan from Sports Card Analytics actually put a little video. It's pretty funny on his IG account. But so I'm thinking, like, what am I missing on this? Like, what does this content creator know that obviously I don't know, right? So I went to the comments because the comments tell a story. They tell a story, a really good story. Number one, if the content creator is even watching or listening, and number two, what are the people that are watching and listening to the content creator thinking? And there was a lot of comments, and most of them are very positive. He seems like a really nice guy. But really, probably great episode, educational, great episode. But there was a couple guys that asked him. And I'm going to paraphrase. I tried to write them down as well as I could. But the first one was, I mean, Melo is good, but Hoops Raw will drop like crazy. Why buy now? And he said to have the first graded Melo out there. I'm not holding. And then the guy replied, I don't know. Eating into your profits by buying early, and you're not the only one submitting early. And then his comment back was, I'll be all right. Been doing this for a bit. Appreciate it, though. Okay. Another one. Lamelo is way overpriced along with others in hoops, or I would be buying as well. Creator. Get them out. Lamelo upside huge, by the way. I don't think anyone would argue with that. Another guy comes into that same thread. The thing is, NBA Hoops loses value once other sets start coming out. Pretty astute comment there. The creator. Another guy. What he said, he has upside, but when Hoops card is $70, what's the Prism base going to be? 200 plus? And then the original content creator said, bad idea if you're holding a long time. We're not playing the same game, boys. Then he says, Lamelo will be $150 plus. No, actually it's going to be probably $700 plus, $800. Who knows? We're out of control, guys. We are on a ride and we can't get off. This is nuts. Nuts. But there's your answer, right? He knows better than us. And maybe he does, and maybe I'm the dope. And you know what? In all honesty, I hope he takes his $70, $100, $120 Lamelo Hoops cards, pays his $50 or $75 to get them graded, and they come back as a PSA 10 and he sells it for $1,000. More power to him. But between calculated risk and reckless decision making lies the dividing line between profit and loss. I'm a calculated risk guy. I have had my fill of reckless decision making. It doesn't end well. So here's the deal. Do what you want, right? My goal is when I started this channel is to provide you with the information and tools. Some guy actually called me a tool. So I took that as a compliment because, I'm here to help. Tools help people, right? And I'm just here to help you and make you become successful. Is it a race to become first or is it a race to become best? Is there a problem with waiting a month and scooping up 10 Lamelo Ball cards for $10, $12 each, putting them in for a $15 grade, so now you have 25 into it, and then if you believe in him and he's really that good, and you wait till next year when he explodes second year, and you sell those for $125 or $135, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's me. And by the way, you saw that. I think the highest price ever on a PSA 10 by Ja Morant on his NBA Hoops, what was it, 180 bucks? 186 bucks? I mean, this to me was mind-boggling. But it is what it is. So there's my take on that. Should you go buy a Lamelo Ball NBA Hoops? Knock yourself out. Am I doing it? And I never tell you what to do or what not to do, but hell no. Right? Hell no. I was buying Ja Morant NBA Hoops cards and Zion Williamson Hoops cards for $2 or $3. I was fine with that. But there's a difference between being first and being best, or being smart. So that's my take on that. All right, so in the last episode, I talked to you a little bit about price enhancers, right? And that could be any milestone hit, anything big by a player. You know, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, a playoff run, does he get MVP? Or in this case, what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today, we talked a little bit about last time, is making an all-star game and making it his first all-star game. This is a classic price enhancer, and it also gives us insight to not only what the fans are thinking, right, but what players are thinking also, which in most cases for the fans, it's a popularity contest. But the way that the All-Star Game is formatted, it gives us some valuable insight to how players feel about their fellow players. Talk about it in a second. For those of you who are new to the hobby or don't know, I'm sure most of you do, All-Star starters are selected by a combination of things, right? We have fans that play in the 50% of the formula, players, 25% of the formula, and then you have the media is 25% of the formula. That's 100%, right? And then reserves are selected by the NBA coaches. How it works. Two captains go back and forth drafting from a pool of 22 players that were voted as all-stars, picking their starters first and then their reserves. And each selection is made without regard to conference affiliation. The captains are the all-star starters from each conference that receive the most votes, and it looks like it's going to be LeBron and probably Giannis. So there are two distinctive ways to look at this price enhancing event, okay? And both are fine. Both have advantages, and it just depends on what you want to do. First, the way my son looks at it, his strategy, and it's a way to capitalize on a quick flip, okay? It's the fear of missing out method to exploit, I said it, to exploit those buyers that can't bear to be, well, missing out. They got to have those guys. As soon as the All-Stars are announced, the hype show begins. You're going to immediately see these guys on the NBA TV, Fox TV, House of Highlights, ESPN, you name it, right? Highlights are going to be flooding the airways with all-star stuff. Not to mention the content creators, which I cannot wait. They're going to be telling you who and what to buy. After, of course, they see who's in the All-Star game. That's when we have a chance to flip players up until and just after the All-Star game. Now, I told you guys, I'm not going to tell you who to buy. That's up to you, okay, to pick out those players you think are going to have a chance to continue to rise prior to the All-Star game once they're selected, and then maybe they actually have a trajectory ahead of them, but I'll talk about that in a second. Now, for this method, we're talking about raw cards for the most part, and you're not going to be able to grade them before the game. So we have to target those guys that you think are going to make an impact and get the hype, and then we need to move the cards. Now, There are some guys out there now, depending on the series of cards, whether it be Chronicles or sometimes even Prism, Optic, whatever it is, right? You could still pick them up at a reasonable price. Compared to what I spoke about in the first part of the video, they are downright bargains. But it's up to you to do the research. My son's really good at that. He'll look, and you can go on now with Chronicles, and you think Zion's going to make it to the All-Star game? Probably is. Ja Morant, yeah, that reminds me. I was watching another content creator. It was a really good show. It was about how vintage cards are going up and modern cards, it might be a buy, and the information was great. It was really good information. And then at the end, the person says, well, if Zion does live up to his height or he gets to an All-Star game, that could help his prices. Yeah. Is Zion going to make an All-Star game? I'm not the fan, but you could see by the votes, it's probably on the screen now where he's at after this. He's only got, by the time you see this, the voting's probably going to be over. He's probably going to be on the team, right? And have you seen what he's doing lately? I mean, I'm never going to tell you who to buy and what not to buy, but anyway. So my son's really good at this, as I said, and he'll buy lots of players. He'll go he'll see Chronicle a lot of Zion or Ja or whoever it may be. Could be rookie, could be not be, but he'll make that gamble or that bet, buy them, and when they hit that price enhancer, boom, they go up. And they're usually sold, and he usually makes a profit. So that's one way to go, okay? Strategy number 2 is a method that I use a lot. I was going to say implore, but I don't know if that's the right use of the word. I use the All-Star Game as a resource, okay? I always talk to you guys about people that know and evaluate talent, so I look at those guys, obviously, for information. And sometimes the best information comes from the players themselves. I watch the captains. I watch, in this case it's going to be probably not Giannis. You could probably see it on the screen. I think it's going to be Durant and LeBron. So I see how these guys pick their team. And I target those players with an educated assumption that they're going to continue an upward trajectory. It's who these guys believe in. It's an interesting dynamic, and I enjoy it because it really tells you a lot. And it's what I told you in the last episode. Use everything and anything at your disposal. Think outside the box, because we want advantages, right? When these guys are thinking about whatever, we want to already have that plan in place. So who are the players this year, right? And I look at players this year. I also look at players that are having good years that may not make it, but are just on that continuing trajectory. Is Jeremy Grant, is he a one-hit wonder, or is he going to continue to get better? Malcolm Brogdon, guys like that, they're on the cusp, right? Caruso, I don't think he's going to make it, but he's making a push, right? There's some guys there. Julius Randle, he seems to always be right about there, but he's really having a good year. So I don't know if he's going to make it to the All-Star game, but these are other things I consider. We research them where they are in their career, and then we see what people in the know think they are. Are they a one-season wonder, or do they have a bright future? These are the guys that I'll circle back to. This is when your card ladder, your price charts, this is where you really have to look at them, because then they can make a difference if they're worth the buy or not. And while people are chasing Lamelo, we'll come back around and take advantage of this misdirection, okay? So who are this year's Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, Brandon Ingram, or Domantas Sabonis? Who are this year's those guys? Because these guys that I just mentioned were all first-time All-Stars, not named Luka or Trey. There were 10 last year. And that All-Star game, if you go back and look at their charts, started an upward upward trajectory leading into, up, and past the All-Star game. And there was money to be made on those players, and how much, depending on how risky you were going to take and when you wanted to cash out. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I had to get the Lamelo off my chest. That was bugging the crap out of me. I just can't wrap my head around buying him now. But if you want to, then by all means, and drop a line in the comments. Say, hey, Andy, you're wrong. I bought Lamelo. I think, whatever it is. It's just me. I just had to bring that out. Because it just seems to me when a content creator that has influence starts opening mail day and people see he's undoing Melos, NBA Hoops Melos, I'm just hope you're not thinking, I got to do that too. If you want to, great, but you don't have to, right? Remember I said before, sometimes you don't have to be first. Sometimes it's just better to be best. So, with that, if you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe, hit the like. If you don't like what you're saying, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I think I'm going to use that going forward. I actually like it. But until next time, take care.